Welcome, Toastmasters across districts in the United States. Welcome to District's 38 Masterclass this evening. We have the honor of having Sue Brooks as our speaker for the Free Toast Host Intermediate Seminar. Sue has been a Toastmaster since 2000, earning not one, but 2 Distinguished Toastmasters Awards in the traditional program and 1 in the Pathways program. She has completed 13 paths. Yes, we only have 11, but she's completed 13 and uses Free Toast Hosts in 5 of her 6 Toastmasters clubs. In this intermediate level interactive session, Sue Brooks, DTM3, will discuss the following: using the site as a member or as an administrator, how to customize your default messages for your new members, how to send emails to members who have opted into your site, how to create those custom pages for your club, how to use the admin panel for membership management, and time permitting, we will have a Q&A session. Please help me welcome Sue Brooks, DTM3. Sue, take it away.
Thank you so much, and welcome everyone. So grateful to see and hear all of you tonight. So let's get started. For housekeeping, please raise your actual or virtual hand if you have a question. You may type your question in the chat, and Ian Golden will be moderating the chat. So at select intervals, I'll be pausing for additional questions during the workshop. And guess what? Some of you were proactive and put your questions into the registration, and Ian Golden was able to share them with me. So you may see some of your questions pop up with the answers here tonight. This presentation will be recorded for your convenience and shared by the district. That is District 38. What you're going to learn: Ann mentioned using the site as a member or administrator, how to customize the default messages for your new members, how to send emails to members who have opted in to your site, how to create custom pages, and to use the admin panel for membership management. Let's begin with using the site as a member or as an administrator. First, I'm going to focus on the administrator, but you'll see pieces of the member use as we go along. So using the site as a member, you'll see the top 2 blue bars where I've already logged in as a member, and this panel shows what you will see when you're logged in as a member for this particular club's Free Toast Toast website. You can customize these panels as you go. Using the site as an administrator, you will need to log in as an administrator, as you can see with the second of the 2 buttons at the top. Zooming in, you'll see that you need to log in as site admin. You'll be prompted with this pop-up panel to enter your club's club number and your admin password. We recommend that only a few select people have rights as an admin for the full website access. So when you are an administrator, you will then see, once you are logged in, to launch the admin console. Why? That opens up a whole wealth of opportunities for you to customize and manage your website. Here's the site administration panel. At the top, you'll see something that just says select a module, and then there is a drop-down with a number of choices. You'll also see a number of these blue tabs. The white one, the one that's pinkish, is selected in the upper left, where then you can customize various things. And as you select various things from the drop-down, you'll see different information on the tabs. And as you go through the tabs, you'll see different information below. So here you'll see this is the basic settings. This particular website is for Talk of Monmouth, an advanced club, and they have a basic description, which allows people to know their club number, their name, when they meet, and the time, and that we're meeting via Zoom. Moving on down, you can show and hide different things on the admin, from the admin panel. Some of you might see a Toastmasters video, or you might see other things like, well, we don't need to see that, or we want more real estate on our homepage, and we don't want to display that. You could see this particular website wanted media information, directions, meet our members, public downloads, and all these other things except for the Toastmasters video. Why? Everybody's already a member, so they don't really need to see that video. But again, you can choose the things that you want to show or hide from this portion of the panel. Next up, let's talk about the homepage. Here is where you decide what people get to see. We want to have a main heading where the leaders speak because we're advanced Toastmasters. And you'll see a little preview of what the homepage content looks like. Take me out to the ball game. We had a baseball theme night on March 28th. You'll be seeing something a little later because somebody was kind enough to submit a question on how to make your homepage pop. Moving along, meeting info and directions. Some people want to provide information about the club. We've identified the criteria for joining the advanced club, as well as our meeting times, and that we're currently meeting via Zoom. This club is located in New Jersey, where we chartered, and originally based in Monmouth County. But because of Zoom and because of the opportunity to meet people from all over, we are way beyond Monmouth County, New Jersey, and we even have people from different states. So it's important that people know how to find you. Next up. Say you don't want to give everybody in your club admin access. Good strategy. But you want some of the officers to be able to access certain parts of the site so they could do their job. Does that make sense? All right. On the left is the beginning of the scrolling information, and on the right is the end of it. So you'll see FreeToast Host allows you to have up to 3 officers to be able to access certain parts of the website. And that is up to your administrative team and your officer team on who gets to do what. For example, who can access the website settings? Well, they've determined it's the president, VPE, and VPPR. Membership management. Well, we have the membership vice president as well as the treasurer and the VPE. Email and contact forms, there's 3. Custom web pages, there's 3. And then scrolling on down to the very bottom, I've put those pieces of information over on the right side. Who can access agenda settings in template? We have the president, the VP Ed, and the secretary. And then last, the person who's allowed to access the dues tool, we have the treasurer. This was determined by the officers in our club, but you can easily tweak it if you have people who have a strong skill set in one area or another who you believe would be a good fit to access these parts of the site. Next up, here's a little bit about, and there's a little history about it, and our very own Arthur Farnsworth is one of the people who is one of the FreeToast Host ambassadors. So I just thought you might appreciate that fun fact. Next up, how to customize default messages for your new members. And this was raised in one of the previous sessions that I delivered last month. We don't want to just use what comes up with FreeToast Toast. Let's personalize it. Under membership management, there is a tab called New Member Welcome, which is highlighted here. And at the very bottom on the right, there are variables that you can use to customize with member name, first name, middle name, last name, name suffix, club name, web URL, etc. So if you want, you can place these variables in your custom new member welcome message or not. And then you can modify the text that's in this text box. So it's personalized for your particular club. If there's too much information, edit it down. If there's something missing, add it in. But again, it's under the membership management dropdown, and you'll see this with the new member welcome. Next up, let's figure out how to send email to members who have opted in to your site. Under membership management, you can decide who will get a copy of the opt-in emails. And 5 of 9 attributes have been selected, as well as 4 of the 9 for the other officers and 4 of the 9 for selecting officers to be notified if people declined and deleted. So these are things that are important to know about before you go sending out these various emails. Here's one way. There are a number of ways, but here's one. Maybe we'll be getting to some of these questions as we go. I see Chris just posted something in the chat. On your particular agenda page, you could see there's a few icons that are in the lower right. With this envelope icon, you can select that, and what pops up is email this meeting agenda. So you can then decide to send the email plus this particular meeting agenda to the people who have opted in to your site. That's one way to do it. And you will also notice, based on what level of access you have, or whether you're the Toastmaster or you're an admin, various icons will be shown or revealed or hidden where you would see 4 or more based on your rights and your access. So say you want to send this meeting agenda via email. You could decide who to send it to, again, with this drop down on the left. And then you could decide 11 options with a picture, with the description, with the time. And then in this big blank space in the center, you can then customize a little message for all the members of the club that you are sending out the email with the meeting agenda. Here's another way you can send the meeting agenda. On the actual page of that agenda's date for the next meeting, you could actually print this meeting agenda, the second icon from the left, download it to your computer, and then just decide to print it or send something else. Somebody wants to send something else. You could email it from your private member directory. Here, I've used Ann Golden as an example, and you could click directly on her name, her email underneath her name, because this is hyperlinked. You'll get a pop-up to confirm that you want to send an email to toastmasterann@outlook.com, and you have 2 different ways to send it, through the website emailer or your system email client, or you could just decline if you changed your mind. Next, we're going to take a break for some questions. I have preloaded some, and then I'll stop talking and listen to you. Somebody sent in a question on how do you make your home pages pop? This particular example is from a club called Leaders Are Readers. This particular Toastmasters club runs through and rolls through the entire Pathways program, but We have a focus on reading books and talking about them with our speeches, our inspirational messages, our table topics, our word of the day, and more. So this is one example using books. And we show people, we name the book that we're going to be reading, and then we show the next book. In this case, June is right around the corner, so we've decided on A Woman of No Importance by Sonia Purnell. Next up, this one's from a club here in New Jersey called What Exit? It's a fun joke. You say you're from New Jersey, so people then say, okay, what exit? And those are in references to the Turnpike and the Parkway. So it started out as a joke, but it's really true. Life is a highway. Where you go depends on what exit you take, meaning you have lots of options. So what did this club do? We have our what exit graphic. At one point, there's a small horizontal image when we had an in-person officer meeting at Panera. Of course, everybody has officer meetings at Panera, right? We get to laugh and talk and eat and drink lots of coffee. And then underneath, we had a Zoom call for our meeting. And the public relations person decided, let's just make this page pop and show more people in our Zoom meeting. And this is terrific because everybody likes to see pictures of people. Here's another one. We talked before about the baseball theme when we were showing how to customize your homepage, and this is the result. Take me out to the ball game. We described how we had a theme, and then we showed smiling faces, and we encouraged people to use a virtual background with baseball. And this was also important that this club wanted to highlight that they've been President's Distinguished for 8 consecutive years, hopefully 9. And somebody else asked about expanded information on the admin panel. And you can decide to make things pop or not by colorizing the menu links or the background colors. You can continue to scroll down and check out other options to use to enhance the look of your homepage. Okay, somebody else asked, how do we get members to sign up for roles? Well, the answer is there is no one particular answer. My response included, talk to your VPE and mentor coordinator. It does vary from club to club, and it is basically involved in your club culture. Do you want people to just go on the website and sign up on their own? Do you want to make sure there's a balance? That you don't have people signing up to be a speaker at every meeting? And if people don't know, you can have a one-on-one session with them or perhaps a small group session. It could be announced at one meeting that signups are available for subsequent meetings. And in some clubs, a VPE does a look ahead at the end of the meeting to get some of the roles filled for the next meeting. Does anybody here do that? Some people think that's a good way to get people engaged.
Yes,
and other people think, well, it takes too much time at the end of the meeting, or not everybody's there. All right, before we go on to create custom web pages, I want to pause for a minute, and Ian Golden, you could read out some of the questions in the chat that people would like answers for.
Yes, could you answer Chris Poole's question? If you can include an attachment in emails to members.
Yes, you can.
How do you do that? I was looking.
By the email information at the
Can you show us live?
on the icon I'll show you. I'll go back to the part of the presentation that we spoke about earlier.
Okay.
With the envelope icon, you print the meeting agenda, you email that, but you can also email things using the email client where you attach your various, what's it called here? You can print the meeting agenda, or you could just send it via email with these, the envelope icon. You can
Right.
things via the envelope icon. So
I
you,
think she was thinking about a file. Can she attach a separate file, like from her computer, right, Chris? Chris, you want to come off mute and explain your question?
Yes, so when I'm thinking, just like you said, so I use that little email icon, sends out the agenda with it, but maybe I want to include a file for encouraging our speakers to write and submit their introduction for their speech. I want to send that attachment as well
yes, you
at the
could do
same
this
time.
with these various tools.
Okay, I will.
Okay,
Ken?
And what is the
anyone else?
difference between the email client and I think you said the server?
Yeah, one of them is directly built into FreeToast, and the other one is through your own email.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have to be an admin to do that, Sue? Or can any member do that? Do you have to sign in using the administrative sign-in to do that?
That is a good question. I would have to look that one up.
Okay. Because I'm signed in as a regular member and I don't see where I can do that.
Okay. It probably depends on the settings.
Okay.
So we take a look at that. Anyone else?
Um, is there a way to clarify if people
Yes.
will be
Yes.
attending a meeting virtually or in person from the agenda? Mine always says in person. They're not attending in person. It's like a default.
That's a very good question, Ian Melanson. I do not see that built into the regular FreeToast attributes. You can ask people to comment in the notes. That's one way to do it. But there is a way to determine if they will or will not attend, not their level of attendance virtually or in person. But you can ask them to comment using the notes. When we,
The only way it's confirmed are those that sign up for a meeting role, and if they confirm their role, they're the only ones that you'll get a notification that they are attending.
but
But
a person
for
can also,
other, you're right, they would have to put it in the notes of the meeting.
right, there's also, I'm gonna go back to one of the earlier screens where we showed attendance. Are you planning to attend this meeting? So this drop down would show uncertain, meaning you haven't chosen one way or the other. If you signed up for a role, it says yes. And if you have not signed up for a role, or, oh no, I'm sorry, if you say you are not coming, like if you pull this thing down and write and select no, then you will be removed from any roles. You can also write in the notes at the bottom that if you want to, if you would like people to be attending virtually, or if they will be attending in person, they could use the notes feature.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and that would notify the admin if they were to select that up at the top. That's right. If they answer that question,
Correct. So
that's correct.
let's continue for a bit, and then we will go over some more questions a little later on in the program, and keep placing your questions in the chat. And I liked the request to place your Toastmasters websites here in the chat for everybody to continue to read, look, connect, and network. So there was a request to learn about how to create custom pages. So you're going to do, this depends on how you have your website set up. Your custom pages, and we'll be seeing this in a subsequent few screens, your custom pages might appear under the members portion, open to everyone portion, or public access, or even hidden, believe it or not. So in this case, these custom pages were selected by this particular club, and they chose to put District 83 clubs by area and Toastmasters club status. So Toastmasters club status will bring you right to the dashboards on Toastmasters International. So how do you create your custom web pages? In the admin panel, with the drop down at the top, you select custom web pages. We talked about the basic settings earlier, and you can then include the name and the description. Here, you'll see a big blank area for create new page. And here's your opportunity to begin placing text, images, designing which font, colors, and all kinds of other attributes. Subsequent screens, I'm scrolling down on this very long page. You have an opportunity to place the web page title or link. You can reorder where these custom menu entries items are in the hierarchy. Move it to entry position 1, 2, 3, and it's all relative. The web page name, a description, and keywords. This will help you be found. Here's the part I talked about just earlier. Select the page type for this custom page link. Public access for everyone, member-only access, officer-only access, or unlisted access. So it's not in a menu, and it's only accessible via a particular link. And I encourage you to go in here and explore these to create the custom pages for your site. You could check it out if you don't like the way it looks. You can go back in and tweak these settings before you go let everybody know, hey, it's out there. More questions. Somebody asked, how do we customize our agenda to show word of the day and upcoming events? Well, here's one option. At the beginning of the individual page, you have a place to have your meeting description. One of the clubs has the Toastmasters logo. We have the mission, but I typed in word of the day and then a colon. You would then place the actual word of the day. You would go in and customize it each time. And then underneath, this is one way to do it. You can list upcoming events at the top of your meeting agenda, so they'll see what's coming up for the next time. I'll show you something else that you could do, which is at the bottom. We talked about notes. And that is at the bottom of your agenda. There's a section here called meeting notes. And this enables you to create or edit notes for yourself, the person who's logged in. So I wrote upcoming events, open house, June 1 at Attilio's, Lincroft. So if you like pizza and salad, and well, there you go. So you could also put the information in here about whether you're attending virtually or in person. And then once you place your meeting notes in this little box, you go save meeting notes. Then what happens is there's a nice little list of everybody who puts notes in there. Few of my clubs, people do that if they know they can't attend. Not only do they select no at the top, but they also write, sorry, can't attend, see you in 2 weeks. This way people know, well, what happened to Anne? Or what happened to Jennifer? How about Carlos? So this way we know, oh, okay, you can't attend, somebody's graduating, but we'll see you in 2 weeks. So these are good places to put notes, and you can place upcoming events here as an alternate. Good point, Chris. Next up. Before we go on to admin panel for membership management, let's see if we have some more questions. Ann Golden. Ann Golden, you're on mute. Ann Golden, if you take yourself off mute, you can read some of the questions that people have sent in the chat, please.
I haven't seen any since your last group of questions, so if anybody has a question, please come off mute and feel free to ask it. And if not, we will move forward.
I see Marcia has a question, or she did. Marcia? Marcia or Marcia?
Marcia, thank you so much.
Marcia, yes.
No problem. Now, in terms of the icons which are there, the icons, are they always created with those 4 icons where you can email the agenda, print the agenda? Let's see what else is there. But is it generic to the buttons which are available, or all 4 available once Free Toast Host is created?
Those are default from
Okay.
Free Toast Toast. I'm looking aside here because I am going to also let you know there's another option on some of the agendas that will show based on your level of access. There are additional icons available to show meeting roles that somebody has taken. You can run reports. There's a pencil icon. If you are the Toastmaster or an admin, you get to manipulate that evening's agenda to select people for roles. Or if somebody says, can you sign me up for our counter, but the person hasn't gotten in there, you can say, yeah, sure, I'll do it for you. Or if somebody says, you know what, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't make it. Can you take my name off the agenda so you can go in and remove them from the agenda? There are several other icons based on your level of access, based on your if you're signed in as an admin, or some clubs allow the Toastmaster to go in and have access for more options for that particular meeting. Does that help you, Marcia? Marcia?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think in my club, we have the president VPE to make those changes, and the pencil icon is usually there. Thank you.
Yes. And that was something we talked about earlier, allowing various members of the officer team to have access to manipulate the agendas. So thank you. Is there anyone else?
Thank you.
Okay.
Li Ching.
Okay. Somebody else? Yes, Li Ching.
Okay, this you may have covered this already about people who are not coming, they're not assigned a role. So how do we know that they are being counted, or whether how many people actually, no, I'm sorry, my question is, some people are there, but they are not assigned any role. How do we Free Toast Host shows that they are actually in the meeting when they don't have no role? Is there any way to make notes on that?
Yes, there is a way, and that was with the information that says uncertain. Like if they haven't chosen to either attend or not attend, or if they're attending but they haven't chosen a role, it will say uncertain. The other thing is you can actually look at the meeting agenda and you could see who's there or not there. If they've chosen a role, you'll see who's chosen a role. If a person has not chosen a role, their name and their picture, if your site uses pictures, will not show them on the agenda. Does that make sense?
Well, I still don't quite get how can we keep track of people who are there, but they don't have a role. They don't have any role.
There is an attendance. Remember that, Sue? I'll let you answer that.
Yes,
Attendance
yes. In the
notification?
attendance, if they've once the meet, that's it. Actually, I'm gonna go off on a tangent. As a club secretary in a couple of my clubs, after each of the meetings, I go into the attendance portion of the website and I mark whether they were there or not. And that would dovetail nicely onto the actual meeting agenda to show if they had a role. If they were there, but they didn't have a role, you'll see them you can mark that they were there, but their name wouldn't be on the agenda proper because they didn't have a role. Maybe they were an counter or a speaker, but maybe they participated in table topics, but they didn't have a formal role. But as the secretary, I go in and mark whether the people attended or not. And this helps us with global attendance. to see who's coming, who's not coming. Maybe we missed them for a few meetings, so we could reach out and say, hey, we haven't seen you in a few meetings. Is everything okay?
And that also about the guests, they don't.
Guests are a whole separate management. You can write the names in the notes panel at the bottom. We have a separate line item that just says Tom guest or Talk of Mom with guest. So if somebody is coming in as a guest and we want them to be able to give a speech perhaps, or take on the role of Table Topics Master, we could select that line item that says Tom guest. And then this way, the person, either the VPE, the Toastmaster, or somebody else, or the secretary, can go in and manipulate the agenda and write, tonight, Ann Golden will be serving as Table Topics Master. We're grateful to have her as a guest. So this way she's on the agenda. We know she's a guest, but she's not part of our club yet. So we have a way to help bring guests into the meeting agenda. Anybody else have a question? Ann
I
Golden.
do. I want to clarify,
Please.
Ann Mellison put in where you go to check the attendance after a meeting, Liching. You need to have admin rights to do it because there'll be an edit icon next to the agenda on the far right. And you go in, and then once you hit the edit, there's an attendance tab, and Ann Mellison is showing that to you in chat. If you want to download that image, that will help explain that. And as far as guests are concerned, again, that would be an admin. And some clubs do add their guests. There's another tab under edit for members, guests, former members. You can add a guest in there. But they would need to opt in just like a regular member, so that they would receive notifications of the email. That's all under the edit the agenda tab.
Absolutely. And Donna, you were asking, can you show the explanations rather than describe it? I'll be happy to go back and do as much as I can. One thing in Golden and I were talking about before, and that has to do with privacy. There's certain things, if I open up the panels, they show private information. So I've been blanking out certain things or just talking through them, but I'll see if I can help you if we want to go back with some of the other particular things that you're interested in. So let's talk about using the admin panel for membership management. On the left, we have the basic membership management, and to the right of it, it's something where what we do once we have the new members opting in. On the left, we've gone into the membership management panel, then we've selected members. At the top, there's a drop down, select people, then a tool. The select people, you choose with the column on the left, you check the name of the people to whom you want to send an email, move them, put a message, etc. In this case, we want to send a basic email. This allows you to compose a very basic email, one or more specific people, any of your contact lists. You'll also be sending and confirming an email containing the list and recipient email addresses. So this is one of the options based on this list. You could send a new member welcome. You could send in the opt-in email. You could send you could resend the opt-in email. You do a number of different things using this drop-down. And then once you select this particular choice from the drop-down, a different pop-up will appear based on what you've chosen. So this is one way to do it. More questions? Somebody sent in registering, but not getting meeting ID and PC, which I believe is passcode. So my question, if I'm understanding it correctly, is talk to your Zoom master, your VPE, your VPM president, or the person in charge of providing this information. Some clubs place their Zoom meeting link and ID and passcode on their homepage, but that invites the potential for Zoom bombers. Other people prefer to put it on the actual meeting agenda. This way, only people who have registered members in your site can access the login. And it does vary from club to club. And a big concern is privacy, avoiding Zoom bombers, and keeping records of attendees. Some clubs want to know who showed up to my meeting. So if you are the Zoom host, you have a record of who came to your meeting, just like tonight, and we'll have a record of who actually signed up and who actually attended. So I hope I answered that question. If you need more information, we can chat a little later. Next, somebody asked, what's the best use of auto emails to promote guests joining the club? So my response to this one is talk to your vice president membership and other members of the executive board to find out your club's policies and club culture. Different clubs handle it different ways. And one option would be right after the visit, follow up after a week, and then right before the next meeting is one recommended sequence. What you want to do with these emails in terms of the content is keep the information upbeat and encouraging, but brief. Some people say, oh yeah, well, give them everything they need to know about how to join your club. Maybe not right away, maybe in subsequent emails or if they ask. And you could receive more training and good hints about this topic at the vice president membership training if you are an incoming vice president membership for your club or clubs. Someone else wrote in, how do you get your members to go into Free Toast Toast to access resources like the member guide? I'm not exactly certain what you meant by the member guide. So whoever wrote this question, you could let me know. But one of the things I would recommend is talk to your vice president education, vice president membership, or your mentor coordinator. It does vary from club to club on how to get people to get these resources. Onboarding of new members should include this information, and this can be done one-on-one or in a small group setting outside of a meeting. And then a seasoned member can actually present this as an education module and get Pathways credit. For example, manage online meetings, Q&A session, and more. So let's think. We have some time, but let's think of one thing that you will bring back to your club or clubs as a result of today's training. You could put your responses in the chat.
Sue, I have a question.
Yes, Ian.
Sheila Oresby asked that question about a member guide. Could Sheila come off mute and explain that further? Because maybe that's a club specific item.
That'll be great. Yeah, Sheila, I see you're here.
Come on, Sheila, are you there? There's one Q&A in here. Sheila also asked, can I do reports and Free Toast hosts? That is when people last signed up.
Yes, you could see who signed up. You could see who signed up. There is an option for reports. You can run a report on who did what when, and you can customize those reports based on any length that the member has been, that the person has been a member of a club. You can customize it for a particular duration. Like, I want to see what this person's done the past 6 months. I want to see what this person's done the past 6 years. I want to see what I've done the past year because you know what? I haven't been a Toastmaster for a few months. Maybe I should sign up. And I actually did that. I ran a report on myself. So, and you could run a report on an individual, or you can run a report for the entire club. Sheila, does that help you?
Sure, but to answer that question about the member guide,
Yeah.
it is something new that Art Farnsworth has added to Free Toast Toast. So I
Question.
don't, so that's probably why you've never heard of it. Because he just added it like maybe last month.
That's not fair, Sheila.
Okay, well, that's an interesting thing, and that's good. I'm looking at one of my club's websites right now. I'm looking at main menu and I'm looking at members only. And there are things that are called website support docs that Free Toast Toast, like Art and the other gurus, have added. So website support docs is one of them. And I actually reference this at the very end of my training, and website support forums is another piece
Okay,
that you can go in under the members only. So people can go in, log in as a member, and then at the very bottom of those menus, website support docs and website support forums. And I've provided links to them when we get to the very, very end. Thank you so much for those questions. And did I help answer it?
yes.
Terrific. And if you think of anything else, raise your hand and put it in the chat. And who else? Amy, yes. You can
Thank
come up
you.
here.
I have a question about the membership management. If you have a new member and like you send them the opt-in email, the problem that or a challenge that we have is that sometimes they say, I didn't ever see that. So you have to continually resend that email, and then they can't sign up for roles and they get frustrated. So how do clubs manage that? Because I made sure I had the right email. Finally, this certain person did, but in the past, some people never did.
You know what? You can also advise them to check their spam, because sometimes they go to spam, especially, well, it could go to, if they're in a corporate club, that's one thing. If they're, depending on how they have their personal email client set up, some things, if it's not recognized, it will go to spam and it will be in a black hole. So
Right? And then
that's
it
one,
just shows up with that line strike through it, and
Right,
then it gets deleted.
right. Well, the line strike through it in the membership management panel means that the person has not opted in yet. So sending it again is one thing. The other thing that I recommend is if they are having trouble, they didn't get it, encourage them to just let them know what they want to do. And you, as the Toastmaster or Vice President Education or President, can go in and help them until it's all resolved. But advising them that perhaps it went into spam is one thing, because that does indeed happen.
Okay.
Somebody
we
sent
have a
me something.
question?
Somebody sent me something. I can't remember what it was. And I was like, I didn't get your email. I'll check this email. Wait, I didn't get your email. And then I found it. It was in spam. It was a work thing. I was like, what? Why is this in spam? It just wasn't recognized. So, and that's the other thing. You can ask them to put the Free Toast Toast on their white list of things that are approved to help prevent these things. But have patience and just, help them along. I hope that helped.
And then someone said you could call them and just let them know that you sent that and they need to
Yeah,
opt
oh,
in. What I
absolutely.
do with
That's
that is I send them an email to let them know that I've added them to the site and that they will be receiving an email from Free Toast Host support and asking them to opt in, and they must accept the opt-in in order to have access to the agenda. And I ask them to check their spam, especially if it's a corporate club, ask them to check their spam or junk email for that particular message. We do have a question from La Ching here. I don't know if we can answer it. Her
okay.
question is, what is new member onboarding involved? I think
Ah, that's a great question. I'm going to give you a Reader's Digest version of it, but new member onboarding requires a few things. First of all, as Ian Galton just said, let the person know that they will be receiving a communication from Free Toast Host. They should definitely opt in so they can gain all the advantages of being a member of your club and using the website. Onboarding also involves typically the vice president education, vice president membership, and or the mentor coordinator, making sure that they sign up for pathways, making sure that they understand how to use it. That might take a little bit of time and training. Make sure they have a mentor assigned. Most clubs who are that are successful do have mentors. If you don't have enough experienced people in your club, you can go outside of your club for mentors. But onboarding a new person helps them develop confidence and helps them navigate their way around the Free Toast Toast site and navigate their way around pathways. We want to aim for 100% pathways enrollment in all the clubs, and we want people to feel like someone has their back and someone cares. Not just, oh, we took your money, we took your application, you're on your own. That's not how we operate. Was that helpful? And then continued support throughout. Anne told me it's not just about getting new members, but also taking care of the members who are seasoned, long-term, and making everybody feel valued and welcomed. Anyone else? Yeah, Laura wrote something important. Add the Zoom link to the agenda. Add a 5-minute space at the end to have members sign up for a role for the following meeting. Yes, some clubs do that successfully with the look ahead. Anything else that you learned in the chat or any other questions? Right, I'm going to give you some more fun things, and that is resources. For more information, you can contact me. I'm going to put all this in the chat, by the way. My email, you could connect with me on LinkedIn if we're not already connected. The information Sheila talked about before, Free Toast Toast website support docs and Free Toast Toast website support forums. These are excellent. You can find a lot of answers to your questions and explore. The way you continue to learn is by continuing to explore. Anything else? I'm going to place the information that I just said I would in the chat for you, so you can copy it